I came in to gather some art supplies, and this is what we got going on right now. Kitty breath. Say hi, Indy. Say hi. Indy, what do you want, buddy? Boy, oh boy, he's really kissing butt. What do you want? Isn't he a doll? He's such a beautiful man. He's such a lion-looking boy. You look just like a lion. On with the show, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I want to first start off by saying Happy Halloween. It is one of my most favorite days of the year. The other one being Christmas. So, I have in front of you a (12 by 16) wooden artist panel that I got from Hobby Lobby. These things are excellent, excellent, excellent to pour on. And if you watch out for sales, they are very inexpensive and so much better than canvas. I will warn you, there are two types. There are white ones and there are natural wood ones. These wood ones need to be primed or else you will get air bubbles. The white ones, you do not, because they're primed with gesso. So if you keep an eye out for the sales on these, I believe that they have an online flyer. Maybe you get a flyer sent to your house through the mail, or you can even call the store and ask. They always have them for 50% off, and I go in there and buy every size that you could think of. I pretty much clear out the shelf because normally it would be, say, $10 for a 12 by 16. You get it for $5. So I purchase them all up. I stock them in the corner, and then I have them for when I need them. Also, I wanted to show you something else I found today that I am so excited about. I went to Goodwill. I go to Goodwill a lot. We have a Goodwill store, and we also have a store called Savers. I'm not sure if any of you have those, but they're like a more, it's all donated stuff. It's donated for free, but they have more stuff than your average Goodwill or thrift shop. So I went to Savers today, as I always do, because I look for things to pour on. I've ended up with some beautiful wooden trays for $1. So I go there a lot, and today I went and I scored so big time. So I'm not going to show you all of them. I got 8 of these. They are old placemats that are MDF. Okay, look at the back, like brand new cork. It doesn't get any better than that. They were $2.99 for 4 of them, but this color ticket was half off. So it was $1.50 for 4 of them, and I got both sets that were there. So for $3, I got 8 of these beautiful placemats that I am going to sand down just to give a little scratchiness to it. I'm going to paint them white, and I'm going to make 2 4-piece sets that I can sell. I like to upcycle a lot, but something like that, it's like literally brand new on the back. So it is going to be quite beautiful when it's done. I'm just got distracted by the sticker on the back. It's called Pimpernel. So I saw the word pimp. I'm like, whoa, wait, what is this company? Pimpernel. Okay. So yeah, go to your Goodwill stores, go to your thrift shops, go to your secondhand stores, go to your Savers. There are a lot of things that you can find. I'll show you an example of something else I found at the Goodwill that I cannot wait to do for Christmas. And I will be taping this. Can you guys, I'm sure you can't see the whole thing. It's a wooden sled. Okay. I got this one for, as you can see, it's upside down, but it was $3. And that day, that color ticket was half off, so I got it for $1.50. Nice wooden sled. It's not nicked up or anything. And then one last thing I will show you. I don't want to show you what's inside of it because I'm working on it right now. So let me just stick a piece of something in there. Sorry about that, guys. So this is a nice big, I have you zoomed in, so it's kind of hard to see. Here, let me fix this. A nice big wooden serving tray. And that was like $1. So you can find a lot of things if you go there and look. Look, look, look. So today I'm going to start a mixed media project. I have these beautiful, beautiful glitters by Laura's Art Corner. There is a link in the description below. It is Laura Usher. She's the one that sells Rez in the United States. She is now offering her own glitters, and they are gorgeous to die for. I worked with some yesterday in the geode. You guys will be seeing that video. And they truly are magnificent. They are glass glitters, and they're big and chunky. She also has fine. They're really, really out of this world in artwork. I'm super happy with these. This looks like a crushed snow cone. So I have these two here. I showed a couple other colors yesterday in the geode video. Go to her store. It's linked below and just check them out. They're gorgeous. So I want to use two of those, and I want to do a mixed media project with resin and some pastes that I have, particularly this glass bead gel, which is a gel that it dries clear, but it has these little, I don't think you can see them in there, they're little tiny glass beads in it. So I want to use some of that for texture. I want to use some of the Crackle Paste that I used on my heart that you saw the other day. Nice thick white Crackle Paste by Golden. And then I also want to use some of this modeling paste by Golden. And it's basically modeling paste will dry. It will dry this color, but you can use it for texture. Art journalers use it a lot for their art journals with the stencils to hold the shape of the stencil. So I want to use all that. I want to make like a wintry looking resin piece. So the first thing I need to do is apply my paste. I am going to start with the most flattest of the three pastes, which would be the modeling paste. And I want to make a ground with that and maybe a background with some grooves in it, because I'm thinking of pouring some glitter and some crystals into those grooves. So let me get set up and I will be right back. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take my modeling paste. I keep calling it modeling paste, but it's molding paste. And I have just a little art spatula here that I had gotten at Hobby Lobby. These pastes, I will try to link them on the bottom. I know that I have one of them linked. I believe it's the Crackle Paste. But I will definitely try to remember to do that. So I taped the sides of my canvas because I do not want anything on them this time. I want to keep them nice and clear. And because I'm doing this all over this canvas, I will not have to prep it because this is going to seal it in really good. So you just want to apply your paste either very level, or you can have different thicknesses and areas. For me, I want to keep this bottom part kind of flat because I want the thickness and the texture to really pop out coming down from the top. So it's almost going to be like building layers. This will be flat, and then the top will be more layer work. This part here, I want it to be a little bit higher in some areas and lower in others, because I can envision my crackle paste coming down like this in some areas. I'll keep it nice and thick there. Crackle paste, by the way, when you use that type of paste, the thinner you do it, the smaller the cracks will be, and the thicker you do it, the bigger they will be. And I will show you an example of that in a minute. Sorry, I just had a cat hair in there. See, I won't edit stuff like that out of my videos because this is what we all go through, you know. It's everyday things, spilling stuff or things not coming out right. I show it all. Nobody is perfect. That is for sure. So I'm almost done with this one here. Don't mind my phone. It's probably somebody from India trying to sell me something. And you know, don't bother cleaning your sides until you have everything put on. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do is going to be, let's see. Maybe I'm just going to use some more, no, I'll do the glass bead gel. The crackle paste, I want that to be on top. So I'm just using my palette knife to clean the sides off. As I said, there's tape there, so I don't have to be perfect with it. And I'm just going to clean this off up here and move on to the next gel. For that, I'm going to be using a spatula, palette knife. Sorry, I'm trying to think of the name of it. I'm going to use my palette knife with this stuff. And I'm just going to get a nice healthy serving of it here on the back of my knife and kind of work it downward, upward, sideways, whatever way you can get it going. And just start having it in sporadic places. On top of that, I will do the crackle paste. And I'm not going to let these dry in between. I'm just going to put them right on top of each other. It's fun sometimes to do stuff like this just to break out of the routine a little bit. There are so many categories in the art field that most of us, I would bet, don't stick to just one thing. I know I sure don't. My wallet is proof of that since it's empty. Now, here's something to consider also. If you're going to use resin on this after, which I'm going to, you want to consider how high you leave these piles of paste, because if you want to have a flush surface, a flat surface of resin going over the top, if you leave one of these 3 inches high, it's going to take a lot of resin to cover this up. So if you're just going to coat it with resin to get some color and just a little glassy area, not glassy areas, but just put a little bit of resin on it to add in the colors, then it's fine. But if you want it to be, a flat surface once you're done with the resin on top, then consider that, because resin is expensive, as you know, and it will take a lot to cover up something like that. So that's why in some areas I'm really a little too high right now. So I'm going to flatten them out. What I want to do now next with the crackle paste is put that down and form some grooves in it to put my crystals and rocks. And we'll do a little bit more over here. And then over here. And then I'm done with this one. Now the crackle paste I'm about to use is actual paste, as I think I already showed you. There are crackle mediums. Those are different. They're fluid crackle mediums. This is a different type. This is an actual thick, fluffy white paste. The other one's kind of just, they're a flat crack, where this is a dimensional crack. And that sounds totally wrong, but I said it anyway. Crack and dimensional should not be used in the same sentence. All right, so here it is now. This is nice white. It's almost like whipped cream. Fresh whipped cream. Okay, so now this is going to be very large cracks. So if I take it and really put it on thin, they'll be a lot finer in this area. So it's all on what you want it to look like. And it's fine that it's mixing in with that other one. It'll be okay. It'll still work the same. I am cleaning off the knife good before I dip it back in here to get more out. Okay, so I want a nice big one coming down this way. You just put it where you feel it, you know? You don't have to have a plan, just sit here and start spreading some stuff. I'm going to just put a little bit more over here. And then what we have to do is let this dry overnight. Let it do its thing. And then we will come back. I will come back, not we. I will come back. And we will go to the next step. So I wish you all a safe, happy Halloween. Check that candy before you eat it. And I'm sure that I'm sure that every one of you watching is old enough to know to check your own candy. Sometimes it's so hard sitting here thinking of things, you know, after you describe the technical the portion of it, it's hard to just, you know, keep conversation going because you're not sitting in front of me. And so anyway, forgive me for being so silly. You know how to check your own candy. I want you all to have a very, very happy night and happy pouring. Okay guys, we're back for part 2 of this mixed media project. So I think I have a plan in mind. What I want to do is make a primarily teal and gold painting. You can see here that the Crackle Paste and the glass bead gel dried up very nice along with the molding paste. So you get some really nice texture. There is that glass bead gel. I don't know if it shows up good for you in the camera. See it there? So we get some really, really nice texture. And that's going to make for an awesome painting. So I'm just looking at it. I want this to be, this area here to be the top of my painting. So stuff is rising up from the bottom. So just get you back into view here. That would help, Tammy. So the first thing that I need to do is spray the sprays and dry them. And these sprays dry pretty quick. Within minutes with a heat gun, blow dryer, anything that an embossing little embossing heat gun. Those work. What I'm going to probably use will be an embossing heat gun because I'm afraid the heat gun I use for the resin will be too powerful. So let me get set up and I will be right back. Okay, so I just decided, since I said the word embossing to you guys, I'm going to add another element into this project, and I'm going to do a little embossing also. I have this beautiful embossing set by Stampendous, and they are different shades of golds. And I thought adding a little bit of embossing onto the maybe the glass bead area or the crackle paste in the area where the blue sprays will really brighten it up. So, and to apply that, you need to have embossing adhesive. So they sell little ink pads that are, the brand is Versamark. Those are for embossing. That's a really good brand. And then Ranger also sells this little embossing dabber, which I'm going to try out on this. And basically, you put this down wherever you want to sprinkle that powder. You heat it up and it melts and it looks like liquid metal when it dries. All right, so first thing though I would have to do are my sprays. So here is my plan. I'm going to have blue coming up and gold going down. So the first color I am going to use, and it is by Lindy's Stamp Gang, is Merci Beaucoup Mint. How do you like my French? Merci beaucoup. So, also, just like with resin, with micas and stuff, these sprays come in a flat or aka matte, and they also come with sparkle mica powder in them. So the Merci Beaucoup Mint is a flat. This one is called a Starburst, which means it's very shimmery. So I'm going to use both of those. I'm going to start off with a lighter one and slowly add a little bit of the darker. Now with these, you can spray them. I prefer to use a paintbrush because you can control it more. So what I will do is put a little bit in a cup, and I will, sorry, I'm trying to find a cup here. I will paint it on where I want it. And for me, it's just easier to control that way. Also with these, you can use some water to blend it out. So I'll also have a little cup of water here to do that. So I have my water and my color. So I'm just going to get a brush. Any brush will do, Tammy. Okay, sorry guys, that's not the right brush. Just need a flat brush. Here we go. Okay. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit on the brush, and I'm going to apply it wherever I want it. Just like so. And then use some water to kind of blend it up to where it's a little bit lighter. Okay, and I'm going to continue doing that until I achieve the look that I'm going for. Like I said, you can spray them on and blend them up that way too. You don't have to blend them, you could just put them on. This right here, you guys, is a very stressless type of art to do. You don't have to worry about you know, if it's going to overheat or anything like that. I am going to use resin on this, but as I said, it's a very, just sit, relax, grab a drink, grab a coffee, whatever you want, and have a good time with it. Art is not supposed to be stressful. A lot of us, myself included, make it stressful. And once you get a couple of colors in here, you see how nice they start to blend. So my idea is to do this, do the sprays. Yeah, I really got to stop snapping my teeth when I can't think of a word. I'm always... It sounds like I'm annoyed, and I'm not. It's just a bad habit. Anyway, so my plan is to do this, get it the way I like it, and then come in with some resin in certain areas, colored resin in certain areas, and then some clear in other. And I think just it'll make for an interesting piece of art, something different. So when you're doing this, if you want to, you could do your sides also, which I'm doing now because it's dripping down. Or you could take them off and just keep them white. Okay, now I'm going to get a little bit of the darker blue that I have. I'm just using a little water to lighten it up there. I'm going to come in with the darker color I have, which is called Time Travel Teal. Once again, these are made by Lindy Stamp Gang. I will put a link for their website below. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. Just, I have a ton of them and I need to use them. So I just have a little bit of that in there. You don't need much, a lot. It goes a long way. A little bit goes a long way. So now I'm going to come in with this beautiful teal and do the same thing. And you won't see the shimmer in this right away. It's once it dries, then you're going to see it. So I'm just working my color in. And again with the water to just soften it. Okay, so I'm going to finish with the blues, and when I'm done, I will come back and start working on the gold. Okay, so I have my blue mainly done. I wanted to show you one other way that you could do this. You can, like I said, either spray the color on, or you could also drizzle it on and then tilt the canvas to get it to go through the cracks. For instance, let me just get a pipette. So you could suck up some of this lovely color, put it in an area where you think it needs it, and then you can kind of just watch it branch out. It's so pretty to watch. Or you can, like I said, tilt and watch it go through all the cracks and move it around that way. Need just a little bit of water in this area here. And you could do it that way. This way it's more random where the color goes and doesn't look so planned. Okay, so now I have the blue done. I need to dry this. You want to dry it before you add like a ton of it on there. I mean, I might have went overboard already, but what you're going to need is a little heat tool of some sort. I would not use a full-blown heat gun on this because it may do something to the pastes. I'm not sure. But either an embossing tool or a hair dryer, something that will just dry it off for you. And I like this Ranger one because, listen, you can barely hear it. It's nice and quiet, as to where my other one, I have one of the long, thin, green embossing tools. It is very loud. So you just want to give this a good dry. And you're going to have to let this dry before you get the resin put on there, because if not, it's going to float up into your resin where you don't want it. So I'm just going to dry this up, and then we'll come back for the next step. Okay, so my original plan was to now do yellow, or I should say gold, sprays in this area, but I think I'm going to change my mind. And the reason for that is because I think I'm just going to use the gold resin to drip down into that area there. So what I'm going to do next is use my little embossing dabber, and some of these raised edges here, maybe I can get it to stick to. Oh, there's a fruit fly in here. Hold on, guys. That thing has been annoying me, and I finally got it. Okay, so I'm hoping to maybe get some, let's see, let's just try it out. Instead of running my mouth, I'm just going to try it out right here. I'm going to pick one of these lovely embossing powders, probably the brighter gold, because I'm going to be using Molten Gold by Rez, and that's kind of a like your typical gold color. So I want to do an even brighter gold with the embossing powder. Something like this, really, really bold. So let's see now how this works. I'm not sure if it's going to get rid of the excess. So I'm just going to kind of try to pour it in a nice, neat little line. I'm afraid if I try to shake off the excess, that it'll get stuck in the grooves. So let's just do this. I just want to melt it and see what it looks like. I don't know if it will all even stay on there actually, because no, it's going to blow away. So let's do this. There we go. So it did stay. That's good. So now I'm just going to put my embossing tool on and melt it up. Actually, before I do that, guys, I just want to continue this line all the way down. It's kind of hard with this dabber thing because it's not like a flat area. So bear with me, please. Okay. What I'm going to do is get a piece of paper to catch all of that embossing powder so that I can save it. I have some little clear film here. I'm going to put it right underneath it so when I dump it, it has somewhere to go. All right. I'm going to leave it under there for now. Okay, here we go. Make sure you're in focus. Okay. Get it nice and hot, the heat gun first. We'll see how this works. Once this little tool's heated up, it works great. It's just that I haven't used it much, so I'm about to get my regular heat gun now because I don't have time to be sitting there waiting for that. Neither do you. Now you're talking. You guys see it getting brighter in front of your very eyes? Now that I like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bunch of those through the blue area, and then we'll come back for the last step. Okay guys, so I have that all melted up. I'll show you how pretty it is. That little kit from Stupendous, I will link it on the bottom of the video. It's really, really pretty embossing powder. I know a lot of you probably don't emboss, but if you do, I'll put it there for you. And I have my painting upside down now because I have to work with the gold into the clear. So it's just easier for me this way. So the first thing I want to do is put down some clear along the edge here, along the bottom part. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it over the gold embossed areas for sure. Actually, I'm just going to cover the whole bottom with it. And then when I want the gold to go down in there, I guess I'll float it over the clear. So, pretty good this way. Boy, that embossing powder looks magnificent underneath resin. I'm just going to put a few streams or lines of clear up here. Okay. That's that for now. And now I'm going to do the same with the clear, but I'm going to be more calculated where I put it. I'm hoping to get some type of a design here. Don't know if you'll see much of that paste underneath once I'm done. I guess we'll find out together. We got a little too much there. Okay. You're probably watching, saying, what the hell is she doing? Trust me, you'll see. You'll see soon. It'll kind of make sense pretty soon. Can't promise it'll make total sense, but hopefully it will. Just kind of cutting it through the clear. Now chop, 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 chop. Yeah, so in this area, it looks as though you will not see the paste, the crackle paste, or the glass bead gel paste. But it is necessary to put it on the board to get this upper area. So, unless you know absolutely where you want to put, like if you pre-plan, you know you only want it there and you don't want it shown through down here, then you have to do the whole board and then kind of go from there. But if you have a good solid plan, I guess you wouldn't have to do the board. All right, so I'm gonna pause you for a second and plug you in before you die on me. Okay, so my original plan was to do this and make a use this as a background. I'm thinking I may just add a little bit of a blue of some shade and blend that into this gold coming up from the other angle. At this point, I could probably stop and make a pretty underwater scene with this. But my confidence in my painting skills are not the best. It's not the best. I don't know. I also noticed that it's pulling on me. So that means it needs to be lifted. Let me just get the rest of this gold on. Okay. Let me lift this guy here because it's going that way. So that means it's off over here somewhere. Put that there. And then also, we put one of these pish pins. I got these big pish pins. A push pin down into the, see if I can get it down into the cardboard a little bit. No, that's way too much, but I'm going to leave it for a second to let this draw back this way now. And then I'll take it out. So yeah, I think I'm going to mix up a little bit of a blue. Just to kind of give it a little more interest. Just trying to get it to go back the other way now. Okay. And I think the color I'm going to go with will be, let's see. Let's do, oh, Peacock Dance. Peacock Dance, yes. Let's do Peacock Dance, just a little bit. So I think that will look nice with the teal. Ooh, that must have been upside down in my cabinet. You really, these jars, you really want to try to store them upright because you don't want it to leak out. And like I just did, I took the lid off. It must have been upside down and it went flying all over my hand. And you definitely don't want to waste these. Went all through my painting here. So yeah, that would definitely make a pretty painting, background for a painting. It almost look like seaweed. Some of that through the clear too. You just got to keep working with it. Don't give up on it. Keep going. You know, you always vision something in your head, and sometimes those visions work and sometimes they don't. Just like my vision today is not working. Also, something I want to bring up that I've been meaning to talk about. There's this common misconception out there that if you don't have the best of the best in supplies that you're not going to have as good of work as everybody else. And that is totally false. You can use anything from nail polish up to expensive paste, epoxy paste to color your resin. No matter what you use, it's all in technique and how you do it, not in the product. So I just wanted to say that because a lot of people think they have to, especially if this is a hobby for you. And, you know, for me, this is probably probably 70% hobby for me. I have stuff piling up everywhere that I need to sell. They're beautiful paintings, but I put no effort into selling. So if it's a hobby and, you know, you're going to maybe try to sell something, I wouldn't put a lot of money into supplies. I would just get what you can afford and enjoy it, you know? Just because I have one thing that's better than yours or whatever, it doesn't mean that you can't make a nice painting. Some of my nights in stuff like that, so cheap acrylic paints. And I don't know what I am doing here with this painting. This is really taking off on me here. It's no more a blue and gold painting, but here, this is a perfect example. Not everything turns out the way it's supposed to. So in a second, I'm going to be adding something to help me get some cells here. And I really need to straighten this painting out. Oh my God, Tammy. Let me straighten this mess out. Hopefully that's high enough. Okay. Let's see, black. I'm going to add a little bit of black. By the way, if you guys have Stone Coat black, this is what I do with my black and white, because those jars are a nightmare. If you have them and don't have a little squeeze bottle to put it in, you can heat the lid on it with your heat gun and it will loosen right off. But those lids are horrible. They really need to think of a better system for their jarring their stuff, because they're really bad. All right, so now I'm going to mix a little bit of this in there. Maybe do some swiping. See if I can fix it that way. Also, another thing I've been told about the Stone Coat is you only add enough until it's opaque, and that's it. If you add too much, the cells will not hold their formation. As a matter of fact, I probably added too much. Add a little more clear to that. So just enough until it's opaque. It can't see through. And then the problem with me is I never know when it's, especially the black, it's hard to tell when it's opaque. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some of this on there. Right where I think I'm going to try to swipe. See, and that's not opaque. So I'm going to pull some color up through this black. And see what kind of an effect we can get. Okay. So now I'm going to put some of the blue right in the center of those lines I just made, just to freshen it up. Okay, and now I'm going to get actually let me add a little tiny bit more to this one here. I have just one going up into the air. Okay. And maybe just a little tiny bit of gold, because there's already a ton of gold on this. All right, I am swiping with wax stencil paper. So you can cut it however you want it. For mine, I need a small piece and a wide piece because of the different widths that I'm trying to swipe. So for this one here, let's go like this. Okay. For the thin one, here's another thin one. I call this the cheating way, the cheater's way to get cells. This is the easy way. To me, anyway. Whichever way works, in my opinion. I got one more over here. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is heat this up. And I'm going to leave it alone, folks. It's going to definitely need a second layer because some of the crackle paste is popping out over here. If you get cells and you take your gun and go up and down in this kind of motion, it will make them bigger. Just so you know. So we're getting somewhere slowly but surely. Rome wasn't built in one day, and neither will be my painting. Right? And then I'm going to torch it quick. First, I have to avoid burning down my house. That heat gun gets very hot, you guys. I know a lot of you have it. Be careful with that. I put it down and I didn't realize it was on one of my wires for my lighting and it melted it. So just be careful with that thing. Put it down somewhere where there's nothing around that it can melt. My torch is running out here, my little lighter. Alright, I have to get my painting really leveled good because it's really pulling that way to the your right, my left. Alright, so let me bring you in and we're going to call it finished for now. Okay. I love the idea of having that crackle paste behind the resin. The embossing powder I probably could have did without that, but I wanted to experiment to see if it would work. And you can see how my resin is going to the left there. That's because my canvas is not straight. So I have to fix that. Anyway, we're going to leave it at that for this episode. And I'm going to attach to the end of this video either more work or I'm going to see how it develops and leave it alone. So stay tuned to find out what's next.